Growing up, society taught you to follow the script by choosing a career path and climbing the ladder. But for many people, this promise falls flat. Work suffocates them and life becomes painful. Here, you're trapped in what I call the corporate cage. Fortunately, there's a way out. You can take control of your corporate job and unlock a life of freedom. I call this living uncaged. Hi, this is your host, Matt Doan. I'm a coach, creator, and entrepreneur. Uncaging people is my mission because it's been my exact life journey. This show provides you the stories, principles, and tactics to make it happen. Welcome to Uncage Yourself. I spent the first 10 years of my career following a default path. I didn't know any better, right? So I plugged in after school and did everything I could to be successful at work. And don't get me wrong, that provided some really important benefits to my life. But eventually work became my identity, and that created its own set of problems in my personal life and then also my career trajectory. And I had to unravel that and deal with it. You might find yourself in a similar place, right? Where you followed a default path. You've been plugging into the system, doing your thing, moving your way up the ladder. And, it's been good. You've had a lot of good results from it that have improved your life. Now, I want to provide a quick reframe for you on how to think about your ascent, your growth in your career compared to that default path. So while the default path that I just described, certainly if you do this for like the first maybe 5-10 years of your career, it gives you a great foothold. It builds new skills. Say if you're in a corporate environment, you learn how to work in teams, how to solve big problems, how to deal with bureaucracy, possibly get access to problems that you wouldn't be able to work on your own, right? So they give you exposure and skills and important things. It also gives you a good financial cushion if you learn to manage it well, learn to invest. You might possibly buy a house and invest in other goods and assets that give you a good foothold for your future. Now, the challenge is if you give too much of yourself over time, you've got to realize that as you make your way up the ladder, as you get promoted, as you get more salary and compensation and notoriety and reputation, there comes a point where you hit, in economics, they call it the point of diminishing returns. Hey, Matt here. Just a quick break from our show. If you're picking up what I'm putting down on this episode, I want you to run on over to uncagedworkshop.com. There, you'll find something I'm really proud of. I put my heart and soul into a transformative masterclass, helping you go from caged to uncaged. I promise it'll shock you out of conformity and having you want so much more out of work and life. So head on over to uncagedworkshop.com and check it out. All right, back to the show. Where it makes sense to really crush it and give your all for some period of time until you hit a mark where any additional effort doesn't give you any additional reward. So say you crush it and you get a director level promotion, right? Does it make sense for the next 12 months, right after you get promoted, to just give your all, like 12-hour days and weekends, to grow even faster? Odds are no, because you're not going to get promoted again another senior level right after you just hit a senior level. So killing yourself is diminishing returns at that point. You might have to put in a couple years in order for that promotion to happen at the next level. So you have to be very aware when you hit this point of diminishing return. Frankly, you might have just found yourself at the top of the ladder looking down and saying, oh crap, what else is there? So be really aware of this point of diminishing returns. My proposition instead, beyond after you've established this foothold, you have to weigh how much do I continually give myself to a job, especially a corporate environment? How much is it worth my time and energy? And I would say after you've had a certain level of success, you have to weigh what that means for you. After you've had a certain level of comfort and security and stability, I would say convert your job into a utility. This is the idea. Rather than being completely invested in work and always plugged in, I want you to be physically present, but emotionally and mentally detached. This is where you're able to push off so much of the pain and suffering that comes with a intense, high-paying job, but really figure out the outcomes you need to deliver based on another one of our lessons, where you can be physically present, do the right things, the important things, not just the urgent things, but the important things, and then also learn to be emotionally and mentally detached. And we have to program our mind in order to how to do that. We talk about more of that throughout the program together, but this is not about you slacking off or doing a bad job or quiet quitting, to use a once famous term, but it's about going back to this outcomes over hours concept, where you fixate on the essential things that really move the needle for you and the organization, getting hyper clear, getting really understanding what that critical path is of things you must do, probably just a few things, not everything like you've been doing or doing everything like everyone else is doing, but figuring out how to convert your job into a utility where you start to view it as something that gives you resources for life, right? That's the point of a utility. It fuels your life. It gives you money, benefits, skills, other perks, relationships that aid your life, but it has to all be in service of the bigger life and career you want to live. And when you start to view your job as a utility, you can start to mentally and emotionally detach from it because you're not fully consumed and reliant on it anymore. It starts to become more optional in your world because you've achieved a level of success and you can say, you know what? I'm going to turn this job on autopilot. It's going to become a utility for me. And if you do this, if you switch this way mentally and emotionally, just think about what this affords you. The space and energy to explore new things, to become personally healthier, to become better for loved ones, to build your own business, to grow as a person, to explore new relationships, to build new skills. Just think about when you flip it to a utility, just how much time and energy you will save. And then you can start focusing on creating other life options. Maybe you want to get into real estate. Maybe you want to build your own business. Maybe you want to run an Ironman race. There's all these things you could do, but you have to create time and energy away from a demanding job. And you do that by converting your demanding job into a utility. And when you frame it that way and say, like, I don't need rapid promotion. I don't need more and more. I don't need to reach the highest rung of the ladder. You can be like, it's just going to be utility, at least for the foreseeable future. And when you view it that way, I'm telling you, when you show up daily and you plan your days, you will have very little guilt in declining needless meetings. You won't have to do those obligatory extracurricular cocktails and networking meetings and go to all these town halls. You'll know, like, my personal health, my family, building my business, those things matter more. And when my job is a utility, I don't confuse the two. I know what my real life priorities are. And because my job is a utility, I treat it as such, and I open up more life options for myself. Keep that in mind. Start applying it. I'm telling you, your whole world will change. Hey, Matt here. Thanks for listening to Uncage Yourself. For show notes and more content like this, head over to uncageyourself.fm. And if you liked what you heard, I'd appreciate you leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Until next time, be well, my friend.